Hey, we're the Dilworth Brothers. We're here in Culver City, California.
And we're building basements in our spec homes. Basements aren't as common here in California like they are in the Midwest. We're from Michigan, and so we see basements all over the place due to tornadoes and crazy weather. Here, there's earthquakes. Now with that, there's huge structural calculations here in California. So our basements are a foot thick. The walls have tons of rebar in them. And so the cost to do that in our builds is quite a bit. We've justified that a few ways.
We started building basements in our spec homes because the valuation on the back end, it far exceeds the cost of construction for the basement. We're limited to the size of the home that we can build above ground by the zoning code with FAR, floor area ratio. However, with the basements, they don't count towards floor area ratio. So you can go down as deep as you want. You can go down 10 stories and it's not going to count. It's just going to cost you a lot of money. We started building basements here because the city reduced the FAR from 60% down to 45%. What that did to our business is it basically took out 800 to 1,000 square feet out of the house that we could build. So we started scratching our heads like, how should we make up that cost and do we still have a business here? We ended up building 45% FAR homes above ground, and then we started digging out basements that were around 800 to 1,000 square feet.
With that, we had a lot of kind of design parameters where we wanted to figure out best bang for our buck to put a basement in to gain that square footage back. So what we did was we came up with costs of construction and what made the most sense for us, because these are, at the end of the day, spec homes that we're trying to make a profit on. What we did is we restricted the size of the footprint of the basement so we could still get a 1-to-1 slope on our excavation. So every 1 foot horizontal that we're excavating, there's a foot vertical that we're going up. So 45-degree slope of dirt on each side. And that eliminates the shoring. The shoring's super expensive. It's basically big steel beams they put in and big timber wood that kind of holds the earth back. And we have another house that's 5 feet on the other side of the property line on both sides. And so we can't disturb any of those properties next to us. So 45-degree from the property lines down through here kind of sets our basement footprint in place.
Yeah, so when we're working with the architect, that's how we defined where our basement walls would start, was by that 45-degree line. And when you reduce shoring and take shoring out of a project, you're taking out the shoring engineer, there's permits for shoring, and the cost of another subcontractor coming in, drilling, and setting all those beams and all the timber that gets set up. And it's time too. We're able to design these basements to still get that 800 to 1,000 square foot that we lost in the FAR reduction that the city had, and we think it's still a wonderful livable square foot, a living space. So. I mean, this is a big space, and one of the things that we did that was really fun, we were at the Build Show in Vegas, and we met with a golf simulation, sports simulation company, and we asked them, what is the one thing that you need to make this workable, and how we should have it in the basement? And what did he say?
Yeah, his first answer was 10-foot ceilings. So that was our biggest takeaway.
So here we are. I mean, the basement feels even bigger with 10 feet. And then we have a bathroom, we have a utility closet that hosts the sump pump, and then we've got these egress windows now that gives you natural light and an emergency escape. So it's been a fun process. This is one of our first basements. Actually, this is our second basement here in Culver City. And to build it speculatively, I think we're doing it the right way. So people come down and they're really going to wow on this feature.
Yeah, and part of doing it the right way is making sure that we control all of the details of the basement going into here. As the builder part of this, one of my biggest concerns is water intrusion in the home. I work directly with our waterproofing supplier. It's California Waterproofing here locally, and they go over all of the materials that we put on the outside of these walls before we backfill that 1-to-1 slope. We put in all the waterproofing per the manufacturer's specifications. We really spend a lot of time and energy, both of us, kind of looking through and making sure that all of that material is being installed exactly how the SDS sheets explain it. A lot of times we bring out the material manufacturer's rep to see what we're doing to make sure that we are applying the right thickness and the mill amount, so we do meet those requirements for the warranties. We have a staff of 16 employees. We cherry pick a lot of our trades and components of the installation, so we make sure that they're done right. We control it. We feel really good by the time we're backfilling and getting ready to continue to move vertical, that's done right. We can sleep really well at night.
And one of the big important details on the basement is the geotechnical report. We hire a soil engineer to come out and do soil samples, and they tell us the makeup of the soil that's here, if it's expansive clay, if it's cemented sand, and the different types of soil. So the requirements, not only does that define the thickness of our wall and the amount of rebar within the wall with the PSI on the outside, but also our drainage around the perimeter. It's one of the most important things that detail has to get right, because going back, you can't fix that.
Yeah. We have a special inspection with him, our geotechnical engineer. He comes out and sees our perimeter drain, I call it the burrito, that goes around the bottom of our foundation, comes through and goes into a sump pump pit that is 4 feet deep and 3 foot around. And then he comes, first thing is he inspects that, and then during the backfilling, our contractor compacts every 8 to 10 inch lifts, and then our geotechnical engineer comes and inspects every 2 feet. So
comes out with his rod, pokes the dirt,
yeah,
make sure it's all 90% compacted.
This is, 1,000 square feet. We got about 150 lineal feet around this basement. I mean, that backfilling alone took a good part of a week with the amount of lifts that had to go on and inspections.
And it's a lot of whacking and packing. The neighbors were not too happy with us, but we got them through it. It's a really loud process. It's a dirty process. One of the things that was really challenging, we started this project late last year and came through and been doing a lot of work January, February. We're in March now. And I think we've had almost 20 inches of rain this year in the first 3 months. So water management on this site, thankfully we got the whole thing backfilled before we had a big chunk of that rain. But the joke was we're building a swimming pool over here. We had 3 feet of standing water. I think the way the basement had held up through the rain is a test to the quality and the details that we followed here. There's so many details that go into these basements, especially here in California where we have seismic issues. We have these flash flood that need to be managed, and we've been working on other systems too during construction that we're not used to. That we're kind of spoiled out here in California, but we're starting to implement some of these like waterproofing details that you just typically wouldn't see out here in California. We really think there's a big value in building basements speculatively. It's a place for the kids to play. It's a place to host your movie night. It's a place to, for your golf simulator. I definitely want to throw that out there because that's a fun little feature.
I mean, it's not just golf too. I mean, we said that the builders convention we were just at a couple weeks ago, they had a whole football one set up where somebody was throwing a football at the screen. I mean,
yeah, you're right. It's a whole sports suite. It's football, baseball, tennis. They have hunting.
You want to talk another level of entertainment. It's like some of these homes, you really want a pool in your backyard. A lot of people get these pools for entertainment purposes, and there's a lot of costs with that and liability associated with it and monthly utility bills. I mean, why not host your kids in the basement and have a little sports weekend with them? And I mean, how fun would that be?
Yeah. We're going to continue building basements in our projects. They're great utility. I think people are going to love them. We're having fun building them.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's a great feature in a home to have. So more to continue.